Early life. Arthur was born in the early 1900s and grew up during a time when the country was grappling with the Great Depression. His life was marked by poverty and injustice. Born in a small town, he dreamed of a better life. From a young age, Arthur had to learn to fend for himself as he came from a large family that was torn apart by economic hardships. The path to imprisonment. In his youth, Arthur was a rebellious spirit who fought against the injustices of his surroundings. However, this rebellion led him into criminal activities as he tried to provide for himself and his family. One fateful night, during a robbery gone wrong, Arthur was arrested and sentenced to a long prison term. In prison, he spent most of his time in a cell, reflecting on the shadows of his past and the horrors of his actions. This time behind bars became a phase of self-discovery for Arthur, where he often contemplated the direction of his life. The constant memories of his family and the despair he had caused them haunted him, leading him to doubt his worth and identity. The Apothecons and the Zombies. During his time in prison, the Apothecons, supernatural entities from the Call of Duty universe, found a way to pierce through reality and plunge the world into chaos. These beings began turning people into zombies, instilling fear and terror across the land. The reality Arthur once knew was no longer the same. It became a fight for survival against the undead. One night, Arthur was freed from prison, though not in the way he had hoped. He suddenly found himself in another dimension where he became part of a larger conflict, a war against the undead. He was not just a survivor, but also a warrior in a battle against darkness. Coping with the past, returning to reality was not easy for Arthur. He had to confront not only the zombies, but also the ghosts of his past. The experiences from his youth and the guilt that had haunted him for years weighed heavily on him. Determined to atone for his past mistakes, Arthur sought to redeem himself and right the wrongs he had committed. In the dimension he landed in, he met other survivors: Misty, Samuel, and Russman. These characters also had their own tragic stories and struggles, and together they formed a team to combat the threat of the undead. Character traits. Arthur Leroy is known for his stoic demeanor and sharp intellect. He is pragmatic and often driven by the belief that everyone must find their own way to face life's challenges. Despite his troubled past, he is determined to help others and make a difference. Arthur possesses a deep moral compass that drives him to fight for good, even as the world around him crumbles. His relationships with the other survivors are characterized by mutual respect and understanding. Arthur is committed to leaving his past behind and supporting others, even as he battles his own demons. This dynamic leads to interesting interactions as the group tries to fight against the Apothecons while navigating their personal challenges. The influence of the Shadow Man. Ultimately, Arthur Leroy becomes entangled in the manipulations of the Shadow Man. This supernatural being recognizes Arthur's internal conflict and desperation, exploiting it to ensnare him in a pact. Arthur becomes part of a ritual that summons the Apothecons into Dimension 63, and although he initially believes this could offer him some form of redemption, it quickly becomes clear that he is merely another pawn in the Shadow Man's game. In the moment of darkness, as he is forced to participate in the ritual, Arthur becomes acutely aware of his precarious position. The Shadow Man promises him power and control while simultaneously exploiting Arthur's weaknesses and past. This manipulation ultimately leads Arthur and his fellow protagonists into a catastrophic scenario, forcing them into a fight for their survival. Character development. Arthur Leroy is a tragic character grappling with his own inner demons. His journey from an ambitious soldier to a fallen man who has slipped into crime is marked by loss, guilt, and the search for redemption. His internal conflict and ongoing struggle with his past make him a profound figure that illustrates the difficulty of maintaining one's identity and battling the dark forces that surround him. Throughout the game, Arthur is compelled to confront his own fears and the shadows of his past. The events he experiences force him to grapple with his own guilt and decisions. It is a constant battle between his desire for redemption and the dark reality that envelops him. Conclusion. Arthur Leroy is a multi-dimensional character shaped by themes of guilt, redemption, and the struggles of life. His path from prison to a warrior against the undead is a journey of self-discovery and growth. In a world where hope is often hard to find, Arthur embodies the relentless fight to reclaim one's identity and stand up for what is right. His character evolves throughout the story as he confronts both his internal conflicts and the external threats posed by the zombies, creating a compelling narrative within the Call of Duty Zombies universe.